Good evening and welcome to the third and final session of Life Online, Navigating the Digital World. This program will be available on JATV.org or on the charter channels 98 and 944. At earlier sessions we showed you information about Twitter, about texting, blogging, Skype, RSS feeds, Delicious.com, Facebook, and wikis. We covered a lot of ground in the last two sessions, but tonight we're going to finish up presenting information about Library Thing, Goodreads, Rock Hat, which is our own online library catalog, Book Letters, and Overdrive, which is a source of downloadable books and other materials. These sessions are designed to provide you with basic information about each product. The products and the websites that we show you are, along with the materials we have here at the library, will help you if you have any further questions, something more in depth than we can answer this evening. Our presenters tonight are some of my fellow librarians, Kate Hull, Susan Braden, and Carol Kuntzelman. Each of us will present our material and then answer your questions after we're done with our individual presentations and moving on. Again, my name is Yeomans. I'm the Adult Services Coordinator here at the library, and I'm going to start things off with the Library Thing. Okay, on your screen you can see my introductory screen. What is Library Thing? LibraryThing.com, a website, is a cataloging and social networking site for book lovers. The purpose of Library Thing is to help you create your own library. You can use, add in books that you own, or books that you've read maybe from the library, or books you want to read. Friends may have given you some title ideas that sound interesting. You can do all three of those things with Library Thing. What do you need to use Library Thing? You need a computer with internet access, and you need an email address. Very simple. You can access your Library Thing account anywhere. This is a screenshot of the home page for Library Thing. On the top over in the right I have encircled is where you would sign in or sign up to become a Library Thing member. It is a free product up to the total of 200 titles, or 200 books. Beyond that, there is a fee. It's maybe, I think, $15 or $20. One is for annual, and the other one, I think there's a lifetime fee of maybe $25. So it's pretty inexpensive. There's also over here on the left, a little section that lets you check out everything you want to know about Library Thing. You can take the tour, which is nice and simple, and then they suggest, of course, to sign up because it's more fun than taking the tour. But those are the two spots to look at the beginning when you're first taking a glance at LibraryThing.com's homepage. Basically, it is a library, your own library online. You keep track of what you have in your house or your collection of books on the computer, so you don't have to worry about that. It's a nice little inventory for you, a catalog. I also have a screenshot of one of the, or actually I don't remember how many books I have now on Library Thing, but this is an example of what a page looks like if you want to list your library holdings. So you can see, you can arrange your page in a variety of ways. I just did author, title, date tags, comments. And that's the way I organize it to begin. I may change my mind and go by title first. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. You can individualize this. So you can put in a cover shot of the book, author name, the title of the book, the date tags, and I'll get into what that is in a moment. The date and tags, excuse me, and then any comments. Okay, this is what's called a cloud, and we'll talk about this in a moment also. You can see that the bolder faced and larger words, the larger font, are this is as far as I've gotten in my book collection, are architecture, art, and art history. Those are the three keywords that I use the most in cataloging my particular collection. Now, going on to vocabulary, there's 4 words that come up. The first one is tags, then cloud, and then Zeitgeist, which is a German word, and catalog. Tag is a keyword that's used to describe the book. Usually it's a single word, like art or art history, architecture, mystery, fiction, any of those words that you would use to describe the book that you are putting on your account at Library Thing. And again, it's usually a single word. The second word I had in the vocabulary list is cloud. And that's just a visual depiction of all of the tags that you've used, arranged alphabetically, and then also by size and boldness. So you saw on my screen a couple screens ago, or my page a couple screens ago, that art, architecture, and art history were right out there. You could see them very easily. Those are very popular in my collection, as I mentioned. So whatever yours may be, may have different words. Zeitgeist, and I got this definition from the Merriam-Webster Dictionary online, is the general intellectual, moral, and cultural climate of an era. And zeitgeist, when they talk about zeitgeist on Library Thing, it's more the culture of books and how it's a social thing. We get together, we share our book list with other people, we can discuss books, we can talk about reviews, all sorts of different things. So it's kind of a book culture online. And then a catalog is a complete list of items arranged in alphabetical or other systematic order. And in this case that you saw, everything was alphabetical. You can arrange it in different ways, so you can go by most popular first and so on. And what's nice about Library Thing is that you do get to individualize it quite a bit. If you need help, as you saw on the homepage of librarything.com, they do have a site tour that'll take you through everything that you may want to know about Library Thing. And then they also have help and frequently asked questions or fact links on their webpage. So it's very easy. It's not a very complicated website at all. And I think the only thing that I put for resources, because we don't have anything specifically on Library Thing in print in the library, I went online and used librarything.com as a resource. YouTube has a nice tour. In addition to what you'd see on Library Thing, they have done other tours. So other people have made up their own tours of Library Thing and show you how to do things. And then mahalo.com, and I put delicious in there, but I meant to do Library Thing. It also does Library Thing. So that's all that I have for mine. So next, I'd like to switch over to Kate Hall, who's going to talk about Goodreads.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you about Goodreads, which is a free website, www.goodreads.com, and it is very similar to Library Thing. So it's really personal choice if you want to use one or the other, or you could use both if you really like this sort of thing. It was launched in 2006, and it calls itself the largest social network for readers in the world. And with Goodreads, the really key thing is social network. Members recommend books, compare what they're reading, keep track of what they've read and would like to read, and much more. So you might have a little notebook of books that you want to read that you've heard about, or somebody might tell you about a book. And if you're always losing that notebook or never having it when you want it, you can keep that information here on Goodreads.com. So the screenshot that's pulled up right now is for my own Goodreads page. On this day, these were the books that were on my currently reading bookshelf. So if I'm talking to somebody and I'm saying, oh, I can't remember the title of that one book that I'm really enjoying, and I'm near a computer, I can pull that up right here. To use Goodreads, you need an email address and a few book titles to have in mind as you get started, and you just go to goodreads.com. I think I missed one screen in there, so I'm going to go back next step here. Okay, sorry about that. So this is the screen you'll see when you first go to Goodreads.com. And if you're a new user, you go up here to register or here to sign up. After you sign up, the next step that will be offered is to find friends using your email contact list. If you don't want to do that, or at least you don't want to do it at that time, you can just skip that step. The next thing they offer is a book compatibility test, which wasn't a feature when I signed up, but I saw it is now, so you can also skip that step if you'd like. And then you find books by title, author, genre, or list. By list, they offer some kind of pre-made lists, kind of like Amazon does. Usually you probably have a title or an author in mind already. And then once you find a book you're interested in having on your Goodreads, you add it to books and choose bookshelves. So that's what this step shows. If you did a search for the help, you've done your search, and so you have the result right here. So if this was a book you want to add to your books, you'd click right here, and then you'd pick the bookshelf you had in mind. You either read that already, you're currently reading it, or you want to read it eventually. And if you ever had a book where Goodreads didn't recognize the title, there is a way to manually input the information. So if you had an older book or a foreign book or something like that. So I've already told you kind of the bare basics of using Goodreads, but there are a lot more ways to use it. Once you have your book list kind of set up, you can add friends, and then you can see what they're reading and tell them what you're reading. You can update your books. This could be as simple as just saying, okay, I've read that, and it moves it to a different bookshelf. You can also put in a short review saying what you liked or didn't like, or you can just give it 3 stars out of 4 or something like that. If you feel really limited by the only 3 bookshelves, you can add another shelf. You could have a bookshelf for your romance books. You could have a bookshelf of books you hated, so you don't go recommending those to anyone. You can also put information about yourself in your profile, including a picture if you'd like. For your account settings, you do who can view your profile, who can send you messages, and who can see your email address. Also under account settings are widgets and apps, which are a little more advanced and when you're just looking for more out of Goodreads. Widgets are, you can take the information you've given to Goodreads and put it in other places. So the example I have up here is actually from the wiki that I showed you last week, and I put a little Goodreads box down there, and it just shows the books that I was reading that day. And that, since it's still linked back to Goodreads, would be updated as you updated Goodreads. There's also a Facebook application for Goodreads, where your Goodreads is linked to your Facebook page. Is Goodreads a good fit for you? I think the updates is a good feature of Goodreads. When you go to the Goodreads site and you log in, you see a whole list of everything your friends are reading, things they've reviewed, and you can also opt to have emails sent to you with those updates. It can be pretty easy to use. It has a nice, clean, fresh appearance, and there's a social aspect to it that's kind of fun. Some cons for Goodreads. The people you know are mostly using Library Thing, and there's other things out there like Shelfari, you might want to use the same thing that people you already know are using. Library Thing offers tagging, as Jean mentioned, and Goodreads does not. Goodreads has those other bookshelves you can create, but it's a little clunky compared to the ease of tagging. And you might think the display or ease of use is better in Library Thing or Shelfari. You're putting information out there on the internet about yourself. It may seem so innocent, it's just what books you like to read, but you might put your email address and other information out there, so you want to keep your privacy in mind. If you are not really interested in the social aspect of it, one of the other similar websites might be better for you. If you really want to just use it to keep track of books that you've read and you don't want to share that, I think Sue's going to talk about Rockcat and how you can keep track of the books you read there, so that might be better for you. And you also might not feel the need to do this at all. If you just like to read your books and not really keep them in mind as much or share them as much, you might just not need Goodreads. So this again is just a picture of what you see along the top of Goodreads.com. Do you have any questions? Thank you for your time.
Next up, we have Susan Braden talking about our own library catalog online, Rockcat.
All right, I'm going to talk about Rockcat, which is our Rock County catalog. It was introduced in 2007. It's a shared catalog for all 7 public libraries in Rock County, and we're all part of the Arrowhead Library System. The shared catalog has advantages in that you can search for things and see what's on the shelf at all 7 libraries. So if the Hedberg Library copy of a book is not available, you can borrow something, the same copy from one of the other libraries, and they'll send it here. It'll be here in a day or 2, or you can pick it up at that library. How to get to Rockcat? There are a couple different options. You can go directly to the website, which is rockcat.als.lib.wi.us. You can click the Rockcat symbol on the catalog computers at the public libraries. If you don't want to go through the internet, you can go right up to the catalog computers and just click the Rockcat symbol and it'll take you there. Or you can get to Rockcat through any of the library's websites in the Arrowhead Library System. You can search to find books, movies, music, magazines, and much more. And this is a close-up of what the first screen looks like when you log into Rockcat. And you'll see our little logo is the little cat behind the computer, and it's the blue and white screen. And you do need to have an internet connection if you want to get to Rockcat from home, and of course a computer. Okay, our first example, close-up shot, you can select the type of search you'd like to do. And in this example, we're going to do a title search. And the title that we're looking for is Bleachers, which is John Grisham's book. So once you click the blue title tab, you then enter the title in the search box, that's right here, and then you will click the blue submit button. And here's what the result screen looks like in this case. It pulls up a list of 3 items, all with the same title of Bleachers. And this came up because we have the book Bleachers in 3 different formats. What you want to pay attention to, I've circled in red the location, which tells you where you'll find this. Number 1, this first example, it's an Hedberg adult fiction. The call number tells you where in fiction you'll find it. It's under Grisham. You'll either see the author's last name, or it may be just the first 5 letters of the author's last name. And then to the right, look at status. Make sure it's on shelf. If it's checked out, don't go looking for it. You won't find it. So those are the 3 areas to be sure to look at. Now, to the right of status up above, you'll see a little symbol. This says 2003 with a picture of a book. That means it was published in 2003 and that this item is an actual book. If you look at the second listing for Bleachers, you'll see it's Hedberg Adult Large Type Fiction. So there is a large print edition of this if that's what you prefer. But you need to go to the large type fiction area location. Same call number, it's also on the shelf. The little symbol has the magnifying glass that tells you it's a large print edition. And the third version of Bleachers is actually an audio. It's a book on tape. It's a little hard to see there, but it'll be in the adult audio fiction under Grisham. It is on shelf. But if you want a book, don't go looking for the book on tape, so just keep that in mind. If you'd like more information on the book, you'll see by the red arrow where you can click for more info under the cover of the book. And when you do that, you'll get a screen that looks like this. You'll get more information about that book. And what I've circled in red is a title profile, a summary, and the cover image. Sometimes you're not sure the title, but if you could see that cover close up, that'll help you answer your question. So if you click cover image, you'll get an enlarged view of the cover. If you click summary, you'll get a description of the story. And the title profile gives you some more details as well. When you're finished at this page, I've circled in red, you need to click the back button. Right down at the bottom here, that gray button, back, will take you back. We'll bring you back to the screen you were viewing. Now when you're done at this screen, here's what you'll want to do. You can actually, at the top of the screen, you'll see a button that says Start Over. That'll take you back to the very beginning. You can actually conduct your next search right from this page, but when you're starting out, sometimes it's easier just to go back to the beginning screen of RockCat. Keep in mind, there's always help online available. I forgot to circle it, and it's actually off the page here, but in the top right corner to the far right is the word help. And you can click help, and that'll take you to the help page for RockCat, and you can get more information on looking for information, how to use RockCat. And we do offer a class on searching RockCat. It's not offered every month, but feel free to sign up for that class. Also, at any time, call or stop by the reference desk or the service desk at the library, and staff would be happy to give you a quick walkthrough and help you with using RockCat. What I want to show you at this screen now is the My Record portion of RockCat. This is where you can go in and see what you have checked out. You can renew materials. You can look at your holds list. All kinds of good things you can do. And you'll notice at the bottom of the RockCat screen is where there's information about the Overdrive Digital Library. And Carol will be talking about that in a little bit. This next part I'm going to discuss is something you'll need to have before you can use Overdrive, and that's a PIN and a login. So we're going to talk about that. At the My Record part of the screen is where you can go to set up your PIN and access your account. So if you just click My Record, it'll bring you to this screen, which has a login, and it gives you instructions. If you do not have a PIN, it explains to enter your entire barcode and then click Submit. You'll then be prompted to create a new PIN. So if you've never done this before, you'll simply type in your entire barcode, and that barcode is the long number on the back of your library card, and don't include any spaces. If there are spaces in your barcode number, just ignore them and put all the numbers together when you enter your barcode. And then you'll click Submit. The next screen, which I don't have here, but will have some large red letters with instructions on what to do. You'll basically need to re-enter your library barcode number and then make up a PIN. And we usually recommend the PIN be at least 5 characters. It can be more than 5. It can be all letters, all numbers, or a combination. But keep it simple, because each time you want to access your account, you need to enter your barcode and that same PIN. Keep in mind, if you use email, you may want to be sure the library has your email address on file. If you ever forget your PIN, you see that in blue? If you have an email address on file, you can click Forget Your PIN, and you will automatically have your PIN cleared, and then you can reset it from home. If we don't have your email address on file and you forget your PIN, you do need to come to the library in person with your card and some ID and have your PIN cleared. So you've done that, and You've entered your barcode, you've made up a PIN, you've clicked submit, and then it'll take you to your account. Now I blanked out the name here so they can remain anonymous. But what you're looking at now is the record of your library account. It'll list, this has one item checked out. This is actually my record. And it lists what I have checked out, and over to the right it has the due date and the call number. Now to the left, it's a little hard to see here, but is a place where you can renew. If I want to renew this, I can click to put a check mark in the little box that's really there. And then up above, I would click the button that says Renew Selected. Your other option is to renew all, if you have several things and you'd like to renew them all. The other thing you can do at this screen on the far right is My Reading History under the yellow arrow. And this is the button you would click, and then there'll be a button that says Opt In. And you'll click Opt In, and that will turn on the My Reading History function, and every item you check out will be kept on a list in your reading history. And so at any time you'll be able to come in, click My Reading History, and it'll give you that list. And it's very helpful, especially if you aren't able to finish reading something, you've got to get it turned back in. You can come back to your reading history. Oh, that was the title. I want to get back and finish that. So this is a nice feature. It's optional. You can always come in and turn that off and opt out of the reading history if you'd like. Are there any questions on this as we go along? If there are, just let me know. Also keep in mind at the top, when you're finished with your record, be sure you click Log Out. Don't just close out of the screen. It's good to log out so you're out of your record before you continue further. So once you log out, it brings you back to the beginning screen in RockCat. Keep in mind other options over on the far right under My Library. You can suggest a purchase online. You can send a comment if you have comments or questions. You can access library information and featured item lists. These will be lists of materials organized by different categories, listing holdings at the various libraries, their new print material, new AV, DVD kits, things like that. There's more help on the middle of the right side of the screen, how to use RockCat, about RockCat, search tips and help, and then finding information as well. And then also at the bottom is Overdrive Digital Library, so that'll give you information as well. And that's all I have in my PowerPoint. I did want to just reiterate a couple of things. You can use your library card at all 7 libraries to check out materials. That's another joy of a shared library catalog. You can put holds on materials at all the libraries and have them delivered. You can also do what's called an on-shelf hold. So if you're going to be in Edgerton and you'd like to get a book that you see is on the shelf, you can actually reserve it while it's still on the shelf. Staff will pull that and hold it for you at that library to pick up. You can do that at any of the libraries. Of course, there's the online help, and of course, all the libraries have helpful staff to assist you. And at the bottom of the handout, I have included all the 7 libraries, their phone numbers, and their web address as well. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Next we have Carol Kuntzelman, who will be talking about 2 things. First, she's going to talk about the book letters, and then Overdrive. Carol?
Thanks, Jean. I'm going to be talking about 2 resources that the library subscribes to. One of them, listings of titles, book, DVD titles that provide information, and the other, Overdrive, which is actually provides content. You can actually download and read or listen to books, music, DVDs. But we'll start with book letters which is online information on books, audiobooks, and film. I should point out that there's a lot of other resources out there on the web, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, that provides a lot of listings of books. A publication called Balker Annual, which collects statistics on the publishing world, notes that in 2009 there were over 88,000 new books and editions printed in the United States alone. Of those, over 45,000 were new fiction books. That's a lot of books. And when you go to Amazon, when you go to some of these other resources online, it's kind of difficult to focus on particular areas, genres, nonfiction titles that you are interested in. Book letters provide some of that focus. It also has a nice connection with our catalog since we're subscribing to it. It connects you with great authors, must-read novels, the latest DVD releases, and these are things that you can find that are available within our library, and you can identify whether they are on shelf or not, and place holds for on shelf or circulating items. It also provides free newsletters on new releases in the genre you love. In other words, instead of having to go search, you can sign up for newsletters that will be sent to you. If you're a mystery lover, you get a regular email newsletters listing the latest new mysteries. How does it work? You can access the book list on Hedberg's For Readers webpage. Now I should tell you, you can do this outside the library, you can do this at home, at work. You can also search for it on our computers inside the library. And I'll show you, give you a quick demonstration of how you can get to it. Once you find an item in there, a listing, it provides information about it, gives you summaries, reviews. Also, additional, in some cases, it'll actually provide you, just as Amazon will do, you can actually go inside the book and read a few chapters of it to see if it really is something that you want. If it's something that you'd like to pursue, it links you to the Rockcat catalog so you can check our holdings. Whether it's on shelf, you can place a hold and come in and pick it up, or if it's a reserve, or if it's checked out, you can reserve it and be notified when it's available. And as I said before, you can sign up to receive newsletters via email, and I'll demonstrate that in just a little bit. What's required? All you need is a computer, internet access, and if you'd like to get the newsletters via email, you need an email account. How to get there? The process is to click on featured book lists under the For Readers page on the Hedberg's website. And also there's a link on that same page listed under free newsletters. You can link on that, get some additional book list pages, or sign up for the free newsletters. If you note, this is the For Readers on the menu on our main page. The For Readers is where you would click to bring up the listing for featured book lists. Under that, will be a link for featured book lists. You would click on that, and then if you want to go further, get some. I'll just point out the featured book lists come from book letters. So we've listed here, and this can change from month to month, but currently we have new fiction, book sizzle, bestsellers. If you actually click on these, you can get lists available through book letters. And in addition, we have the free newsletters, which I can't content. It's at the very bottom there. It's highlighted. You can click on there, and then you can get an even more complete listing of the newsletters. The advantages to having newsletters is, as I said before, it sends you information on the latest book, also DVD releases. There is a DVD listing, and it really focuses on your particular interest. It may provide a sample of the content for many of the new books. In addition, if you're reading series, many of these mysteries, romances, there are parts of series. It will indicate which number in the series it is, and you can get an actual listing of the complete series from book letters so that you can see what you've missed. Start with the beginning if you're coming in the middle, and read the entire series. And it links to the Rock Cat catalog so that you can place a hold on the actual book or DVD in the that we have in the library. Okay, now this is our home page, and as I said before, in order to get to the book letters list, you would go to For Readers, click on it, and this is our listing. We have a number of other different resources available there, but if you're interested in book letters, you would click on the link here for featured book lists. You could go into new fiction, you could go into any of these bestsellers, for example, and it would give you a list of the bestsellers that are currently available, everything from Stieg Larsson to the latest Lee Childs, one of my husband's favorite authors. So I'll use this as an example. This is a listing. If it'll give you information about that particular book. If you want to read the complete, you just click on More. You can also go inside this title under Browse and Search, and just as on Amazon, you can read some of the first chapters, which can give you an idea of whether it's something that you want to pursue. It also, this is part of the Jack Reacher series, and if you wanted to see this is the 15th book. There's a lot, he's written a lot on Jack Reacher. If you want to see the entire series, you can click on View Series, and it will give you the listing from the very first title on down to the current one. If you are, at this point, if you're still interested, you'd like to read the entire book, there's a link for a Check Our Catalog. It will take you to the Rock Cat catalog that Sue was just demonstrating, and in this case, of course, everything is checked out. In fact, there are 24 holds. We have multiple copies of this book, so you can place a hold and you will be notified when it's available for checkout. Any questions? If not, now this provides you with information about particular books, but what if you you're outside the library and you'd like to actually read or listen to a new book or a CD or a DVD? There is a resource available where you can electronically download titles to your computer, to a mobile device, to an e-reader, and that's called Overdrive, and that's another service that we subscribe to, and I'll be talking about that in just a minute. Overdrive is a resource that provides electronically books, DVDs, and music CDs. You can access it from your home, from work, 24/7. Anytime that you're interested in seeing what's available, you can go online to this resource that we subscribe to and locate books or, as I said, music or DVDs and download them to your computer or portable device. What's included? It is it's software that provides you with a virtual branch. In other words, you don't have to come into the library. In fact, this is one resource where you, unless you have a laptop that you use within the library, you can't actually access these resources on our computers. This is something that you would access from home or outside the library. It is a collection of digital titles that you may check out. It includes adult titles, and it also includes titles for children, for young adults. It is a selection for all different age groups. What's required? You do need a library card because you're going to be checking these out online. You need a computer, either a Windows or a Mac or a smartphone, and it is compatible with Android, BlackBerry, iPhone, Windows Mobile. If it's an ebook that you're going to be downloading, you can download it to a computer, or you can download it to an ebook reading device. Either the Sony Reader or Nook are compatible. I will say Kindle is not. That they are proprietary, and this is one resource that the one device that is not compatible with Overdrive. There's also free software that you would download off of the Overdrive site, and then of course you need an internet connection. How does it work? Well, I'll be going shortly to the site itself, but it allows you to browse through a number of different titles, as I said, both ebook, audiobook, some music, some video, to select the titles you want. You check it out online and you download it. Again, anytime, any place. You can download it to a Windows or Mac computer and smartphones. You can, if it's audio, you can download it directly to smartphones. Or you can transfer it, if it's an ebook, you can transfer it to a device like the Sony Reader and Apple iPod. How do you get there? There's several ways you can get to Overdrive. One is from the Overdrive link on the 4Readers webpage. We were just at this page. If you notice right at the bottom of the page, it says Overdrive. If you click there, that is a direct link to the Overdrive site. It's one access point. You can also, as Sue said, you can access it from the Rockcat catalog, either the audiobook link here for downloading from Overdrive, or there's also a link over on the side, on the right-hand margin, Overdrive Digital Library. Or if you're in our catalog, we have records for all of the titles that are available through Overdrive. And if you come upon one of these that's labeled electronic resource, you see something like, get it there, electronic resource, that means this is part of the Overdrive collection. If you click on the link that's on top here, it will take you again into the Overdrive site, and you can check out that particular book from Overdrive. One last thing, I don't have it on my listing here, but you can also go directly to the site, http://dbooks.wplc.info, and you don't have to write that down. There is a handout. There's a brochure that was available when you came in that has that listed. It also provides some good information about how to access the site and how to download, and also provides information on help information on downloading the material. few things about format. We've talked about various formats that are available. Audiobooks are recorded readings of books that can be downloaded and listened to on a computer or portable device. That is different from the e-book, which is text-based. So when you download this digital book, you can actually read it on a computer or, again, a portable device such as a Nook or a Sony Reader. Video is a DVD that's digitized and can be downloaded and viewed on a computer or portable device. And music is a CD that's digitized for download and transfer to a portable device. I will note that the video and music offerings are rather limited. Overdrive has been trying to expand and get rights to such providers as BBC, as A&E for video, and with regard to music, they've been trying to expand, but at the present time, the music is limited to classical. They've been making a real effort to get some jazz CDs included, but at this point, they don't have the rights yet. I mentioned the software that you have to download. The Overdrive Media Console is the software you have to download in order to listen to the audio books, to get the video, the music CDs. For Windows and Mac, you download and you can listen to the books or the music or the video on your computer. You can also transfer from your computer to a compatible device, and in many instances with the audio books, you may burn it to CD. When you download these titles from Overdrive, it's just like you're checking out a book here. There is a limit to how long you can hold it, which is a week for audiobooks. It is extended for e-books, but at the end of that time, when you loaded it on your computer, or in most instances with your portable devices, it will be deactivated after a week or after the length of a long period. If you burn it to CD, it's yours. If it does allow you the rights to burn it to CD, then you got the CD. For smartphones, if it's an audio device, you can download and listen on the device. You can download directly to your smartphone and listen on the device. This is and again, I'll show you briefly. We'll go to the site itself and I'll show you this particular screenshot, but this is where you download. You have to identify what desktop you're using, whether it's Windows or Mac, or if it's a mobile device, it does give you the options and you need to select which mobile device you're downloading to. In addition, the first time you use this, for first-time users of Overdrive Media Console, you'll be prompted to complete a one-time security upgrade for Windows Media Player. And again, it will direct you as to what you have to do. You just follow the prompts, and it's fairly simple to download this software. When you go to when you're at the point that you're going to select something to check out, if it is on shelf, if it is available, and I'll show you where you can get to those things that are actually available on shelf, you can download it to a cart and check it out immediately. For many of the very popular, the newest, the high-demand titles, you will need to place a reserve. And it's just like you would place a reserve on a title that we have here at the library. You reserve it, and when it becomes available, then they will notify you by email that this is now available to download. Digital rights. Every title that's listed has its own digital rights or permissions, which have been set by the publisher. The permissions outline what a user can do with the title after download. And as I said before, sometimes you can actually burn it to a CD, but it will indicate whether that's what you can do with it, what is required in order to download it. If it is an ebook, a print, something that is available in text, you need an additional software to be downloaded. This is the Adobe Digital Editions. For Windows and Macs, you download this software and then you can read your ebooks on the computer. You can also transfer it to a compatible ebook reader, as I said before, such as a Sony Reader or a Nook. The features of this is flash-based. Which Adobe is a flash-based software. It has table of contents. You can bookmark just as you can with other types of readers. You can bookmark, you can highlight, you can add notes. All of this as you're reading the ebook. They ask you whether you want WMA or MP3 audiobooks. And this is a little chart that explains the difference. First of all, if you're listening to this on an iPod, you have to use the MP3. That's the only version you can use on a Mac or an iPod. You can use either MP3 or WMA. WMA, by the way, is stands for Windows Media Audio. This explains the difference between the two if you download. If you use the WMA version, it downloads faster, but you can't store as much. The file size is only 15 to 18 megabytes. With an MP3, the download is slower, but you can store more. It's 30 to 36 megabytes. This is a chart that's provided on the Overdrive web page, and it lists the types, the Overdrive Media Council and the Adobe Digital Editions, and it identifies what each type of computer, which of these formats can be used on which computer. For example, with Windows, it's compatible with WMA, MP3, the music or the video, and the ebooks. With Mac, it's only compatible with MP3 and the ebook, the Adobe Digital Editions ebook. If you have a smartphone, it identifies which format is compatible, and we've got a listing of 4 types of smartphones, software: Android, BlackBerry, iPhone, devices, Androids, BlackBerry, iPhone, and Windows Mobile, and it lists the different types, what is compatible with each of these. With the top 3, it's MP3 files that you download. You cannot directly download the ebooks onto these at this time. It's coming, but right now it's not available. With the Windows Mobile, you can download the WMA to MP3 music and video files. While you're going through this process, you may need some help, and there are several different ways you can get help. There is a help link on the site that you can access. If you're comfortable with computers, if you've been, you feel comfortable with just getting started, jumping into it, you can use the Quick Start Guide, which takes you through the steps to loading the software and getting started. There's also, if you're not so comfortable and you'd like a little time, and there's a guided tour of the process. And you can always get user support. You can contact support via email. There's an email link on the main help page. You can also contact the reference desk here at the Hedberg Library, and they will help you answer some of the questions that you have. And quickly just give you that number, but it's in the phone book. It's 758-6581. You can contact them and they can assist you with questions that you may have as you're loading or trying to select and download a title. By the way, we're part of a consortium, and this is provided, we subscribe to this site, but there are systems throughout the state that are selectors from each system throughout the state. By the way, I select for Arrowhead Library System. We regularly have conference calls and select titles to be added. I will note that one of the concerns has been the very popular titles have long lists. There's been a push lately to get more multiple titles. There's been a concern that we don't have as long a waiting list, so we are purchasing more of the popular authors, the popular titles. I'm going to, this is what you will see, and I've noted I mentioned the help. There's the help link that you can go to if you have a question. If you're first-time users and you need to download there's a quick start guide which I'll go into, and this will take you through. It brings you to. This gives you an overview, and it takes you step by step how to download the software and install the software, how to activate it, and then how to actually start checking out and downloading titles. I mentioned earlier about there's currently available audiobooks, currently available video. These are things that are actually on shelf, and you can check out immediately once you have the software downloaded. You can also search, and I did a little. I'm just going in by a author, but you could actually go into those highlights, and they'll just bring up lists, and you can browse and identify titles that you're interested in. But if you notice this first one here, Harlan Coben is one of my favorite authors. It'll give you information about it. It'll indicate what you, in this case it's an Overdrive WMA audiobook. I mentioned about those rights. It gives you the information about how you can, what this will be downloadable to. It indicates, because this is highlighted, that you can burn this title to CD. And in this case, it indicates that you can add it to your cart. So this is actually available. You could download it immediately and start listening to it. In the case of something like Caught, place a hold indicates that this is not actually available at this point. You would need to place a hold on it. And it's at this point that you would need to first identify which system that you're part of, and in this case we're part of Arrowhead Library System. You would click on that, and then you would sign in, and I'm going to refer back to when Sue was talking about the library catalog. You would use the same library card number. Again, streaming, there's no blanks. You just string the numbers along, and then you would use the same pin that you use for your catalog. And sign in, and then you can request that particular place a reserve on that particular title. Are there any questions? Yes.
How are you notified when the title is available for you to check?
You're notified by email. So you do need an email account. Thank you.
How
How long is the loan time?
Loan time for audiobooks is only 7 days, so that's why if you can burn it to CD, it's nice, because then you can have it as long as you wish. You cannot renew. It does not allow you to renew. You can place your name back on the list if you reserved it, but it will deactivate at the end of 1 week. If it's an ebook, there's I think it's 3 weeks. I'm not positive about that, but this checkout period for ebooks is longer. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Kate, Sue, and Carol, for your presentations tonight, and thank you all for coming. If you have any further questions about any of the products and websites that we discussed in this series, please come and see us at the reference and service desks. Thank you.